All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in this short bonus class where we will discuss the views. And what we mean by the views is that each of the sheets give you a different perspective of the project, and each of the views get more and more complicated, or each one gets more detail or gives you more detail. And because the architect, the only way that they can show you how something is built, how a wall is built, or uh, how any of the items in the project is built, they have to give you one perspective, then a more detailed perspective, then a more detailed one, and all the way through until the full picture is represented on how you should put this wall together or install this window or install tile on a wall or even, wall base, to adjacent walls. So that's what we're here to talk about today in this bonus episode for our basic plan reading class. And now we'll start with the first of the views, which is the plan view. And so when we talk about the plan view, we'll start with the site plan. We think we will. We'll start with the cover sheet, and we'll start with the MEP site plan somewhere in here. And why isn't it marked? Oh, because Stacy likes making this life difficult. Let's hope we didn't delete it. Okay, let's go back. Oh, there we go. All right, so we'll go with the MEP site plan. So plan view. So when we say plan, it's the view from above. It's like if you're hovering over, maybe flying over. It's the most basic of the views. So what we're looking at right here is the MEP site plan in our study set. MEP is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and it's basically showing us the site plan from the plan view of where all of those things are located. So if we pan in, we'll see 8-inch water, 4-inch gas, underground telephone. But the whole point is the view or how we're looking at this sheet. Okay, so the view is again the perspective from which you're looking at the sheet or looking at the information on the sheet. The plan view is the most basic of the views, and I say basic in terms of if we wanted to construct maybe the curves. From this view, we can't really do anything other than measure how many linear feet of curve that we're going to construct. It doesn't tell us anything about the thickness, the radius of this angle. It doesn't give us any of that stuff. And so we could do a very poor job if we decided to use this plan view, in order to construct anything here. Same thing with say, for instance, the exterior walls on the Popeyes, right? We can use this view to measure how many linear feet of exterior wall, but it doesn't give us detail to tell us the thickness of the walls. Is it 2x6, 2x8, whatever. Doesn't give us the height, right, of the wall. We don't know the height of these walls. So again, the plan view is the most basic of the views. And it gives us a good idea of what we're looking at. It's a view from above, but it doesn't give us detail. Let's go to another plan view, where from this floor plan, right, same view from above as if we've taken the ceiling and the roof off, and now we're looking into the building, same view from above, and same thing. It gives us the information where now we can measure how many linear feet of each of the interior walls are and exterior walls. Okay, they're even marked, so we know that this is wall B. Okay, and pretty much the plan view, that's all we can do from a plan view, because again, we have the same problem. We don't know the height of the wall. And so in order to see the height of the wall, we go to the second of the views, which is the section view. Okay, so section view gives us the vertical view of any section where it's intersecting. Okay, so this is a floor plan. And so what the floor plan gives us is how many linear feet. But the section view is going to say, well, I'm going to tell you the height of the wall along this stretch or this section of wall. And the way that you read it is that you go to image or picture number 1 on the page notified or signified at the bottom. So we go to image number 1 on page A426, and this is a section view. Again, the architect can only give us what? Abbreviations and symbols and lines and numbers to represent what they want us to do in terms of now I'm the framer and I have to build these walls. And so what I've done as the framer, I've broken down all the walls into appropriate sections. Then I go to the section view and I see the wall construction. All right, so now I'm going to go to 1 over A426 to see the vertical height at this section. Here we go, 1 over. So now we were up here, right? We were up here from the plan view looking down. Now we took that section view marker and we came down here. Now we know what the wall construction at that section. That was the wall at the window. There's the window. We have a certain portion of wall below the window. We have a certain portion of wall above the window. And so we use this to determine how many linear feet of this size and height of stud. We can use this to determine our material quantities now. Okay, so that's the section view. That's the second of the view. And again, it does give us more detail than a plan view. Now we go to the third of the views. So what is the architect saying? By giving us this detail view, we're going to look at a detail view. This is called a detail call out. Circle, dotted circle around in something that's inside the circle. Same concept applies if we want to see what is missing. So what the architect is saying, there's some stuff here. You see the seal, you see the chair rail, you see that it's 2x6 wood stud, you see everything on this side, but there are certain things detailed in here that we don't have written here that we need you to get another what? View. Okay, so you go to the third of the views, which is the section view. Same concept applies. So what do we see here? So we know what we don't see here when we go to 5 over A600. So you see what the difference is, right? So again, we see the seal, we see the chair rail, stone veneer, even the expansion joint right here. And actually we have two call outs, right? We have 5 over A600 for this encircled here, which is the intersection of the bottom of the window and the top of the wall. Okay, so that's pretty much what the architect is saying. There's something about that we need to see, that if you go to 5 over A600, and let's go there now, you can see what you don't see here. 5 over A600, here's A600, image number 5. Where is it? I don't have my glasses on, Grandma. All right, here we go. 5, detail at seal. So yeah, continuous caulking wasn't shown in the previous. Continuous flashing on the window wasn't shown in the previous, and all of this, okay? And so now you've gone to the third of the views, the detail view. It is a detail view. And you see at the detail view, it gives you everything that you didn't see at the section view, so you can complete the proper construction at that area. Okay, so that's the third of the views. Now the fourth of the views is kind of different in that we don't really need that view for construction. That view we need for the finish trades. Okay, so now what we're looking at here is the floor finish plan. But the floor finish plan is giving us all indication by all of the floor tags and the telling us what type of material it is by pointing to it. But what this floor finish plan also gives us is these little things that look like section view markers, but they are not. They are elevation markers. And so what it's telling us is that if we go to image number 7 over at page A120, we're going to see all the finishes that's here on this wall. If we go to image 9 over A120, we'll see all the finishes here and all the way around. And here, this is pretty much, you always want to see elevation markers. So this is an interior. These are interior elevation markers, are what they're called. And they're used to point you to an individual wall, whatever it's pointing to. And if you go to that picture on that page, it's going to show you how the finishes are arranged on the wall. So let's go to the first one, 7 over A120. Let's see, 7 over A120. This is 126, so we got to go back up a little, 7. And then image number 7. Okay, so image number 7 is right here, the dining room elevation. Okay, so now it's showing us all our walls are built, right? So showing us where the finishes are going, where P2 is going, where WS/1 is going, where CB1 is going on that wall. So now I'm the finish contractor. I'm the painter. I'm installing some of the finish trim or finish whatever. I can make my measurements using the interior and exterior elevations. You also have the same thing on the exterior. Okay, so show you some exterior elevations, right? Same thing for the outside. So now exterior elevations show you all the finishes on the outside. So now I'm the brick veneer professional. I'm the caulker. I got to caulk around the windows. I can use this to make all my measurements. Okay, so that completes the 4 views. You have the plan view, the most basic of the views from above. Right? It's the view from above, most basic of the views. What we see the most is the floor plan. From the floor plan, of course, we're measuring how many linear feet of wall, but we need a height for the wall. So the section view takes us to the height. Okay, so that's the second of the views, which is the section view. Okay, so the section view now gives us the height. We were up here from the floor plan. Section view gives us all of the individual sections. So now we can see how the interior walls are built. Helps us with our wall construction, helps us determine how many square feet of wall. And then when we're in our section view, 9 times out of 10, we're going to go into a detail call out to take us to another view, which is giving us information about what we don't see here to ensure that we complete the proper construction. And then the last of the views, well, let's go to the detail view. Okay, so the detail view has all the things we didn't see in the circle. Okay, so you're going to always have a sheet of detail views pretty much in every set, right? Because there's always something. We've got to get down to the nitty gritty of the construction. All right, and then the last of the views are for the finish trays, interior elevations. So the painter and the finish trim and the this and that, the painter, the tile, the uh, wall base professional knows where all of that goes, and that's at either an interior, inside elevation view, or an exterior elevation view. Let's find it. Oh, of course, that's not it. Or here we go. Or an exterior elevation view. Okay, so that completes the 4 views. If you have any additional questions or problems with this stuff, please sign up at our online office hours at www.sfjohnsonconsulting.com. And we'll be more than happy to help you. But otherwise, I will see you at the next class. And please remain awesome. See you later, alligators.